What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so I said I was going to make a like video and a dislike video. So all the things that I dislike and all the things that I like. So in this video, I'm just going to go right out and talk about all the things that I dislike about the new Gen 3 Tundra. So, if you've been following along my channel, you guys know I just bought this about 2 weeks ago. This is about 55,000 bucks, give or take a few pennies. It's the SR5 Premium, four-wheel drive, Crew Max in magnetic gray, and I love this color, by the way, but we're not going to talk about the things I love. We're going to talk about the things that I dislike. There's not anything here that I really hate for the most part, and there's no deal breakers to make me not want to buy this truck, but there are a bunch of little things that I dislike about it that I either could fix by spending more money and getting a better trim or higher trim, or it's just a weird design decision by Toyota. I don't know why they did what they did, but let's talk about that real quick. So the very first thing that I dislike the fact that Toyota did not offer the new Tundra with different engines, because Ford has the Raptor, and Ford also has an F-150 that you can buy with a 5.0 liter V8 Coyote V8, which is awesome. If you want that old school 5.0 with Ford, you can still buy that. Or if you want the V6 twin turbo, you can get that too. You can get the EcoBoost. I think Toyota missed out big time on a lot of money with this truck. If they just offered an old school 5.7 liter V8 in this truck, as well as the more fuel efficient twin turbo V6, I think they would have sold thousands of each one of these, to be quite honest. And I know why they did it, because the whole planet is going V6, and eventually they're going to go electric. And I guess they just want to push the V8 out completely, which I don't get, but whatever. America is a huge market. I mean, Americans will buy V8s. Even when V8s are not cool overseas, Americans will spend big money on V8s. And they should have catered to the American market. I mean, they build them in Texas, for God's sakes. The other thing that I dislike is the fact that Toyota decided to go with this crazy bumper design. Ignore the whole grill drama, because I know that's a big thing with people. They don't like the grill and the chrome and all that stuff. I'm just going to ignore that. That's a given. But what I don't like is the design with the bumper. As you can see, if you want to remove this bumper, it's complicated. It's not simple. Unlike the Gen 2, where you just undo a few bolts up front from the frame, the steel bumper literally just pops right off for the most part. And then you have a straight line right across the front. With this, it's complicated. You got plastic, fog lights, sensors. You have an aluminum crash monitor here in the center, and then you have this mustache thing that comes down, and then you have this end cap that comes here that goes all the way up there. So if you remove this, and remove that, look at the lines that you have left behind. It's not a straight line. So whoever's going to customize this truck and make an aluminum or steel aftermarket bumper to mount a winch and recovery points, they're going to have to decide where to cut, because there's no pre-cut line here. If you cut here, you're gonna have to cut this vent and then cut this body panel, because the body panel separates way up there. You see what I mean? It's not easy. It's a nightmare for the aftermarket guys and for us who want to swap out bumpers for a winch. It's crazy. It's actually pretty dumb. Toyota, what were you thinking? Usually you guys are on top of things like this. Same thing with the back. Let's go look at the back. I don't like the rear bumper. On the Gen 2, it's plug and play. You undo the bolts and the steel bumper would just pop right off, and you had a nice clean cut right here. Well, look at the problem here on this one. You got the bumper, you got these panels, and then you have this end cap that goes all the way and does not stop here. This is where the Gen 2 stops. On this one, it goes all the way back here, and it's part of the body. The bumper is part of the body. So if you get any kind of damage here, you're gonna have to remove this entire bumper right here, this whole cap, which is weird in itself. And then also too, if you remove the bumper, look at the lines left behind. It's not a straight line. So again, I feel sorry for the guys trying to design rear bumpers for this truck, because it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be a lot of complex things you got to do back there. Well, while we're back here, let's talk about another thing I dislike. Watch this. Okay, so tailgate's down. Where do I step? There's no Silverado style or GMC style hole here to step on, and they don't ship a fold down aftermarket like Amp Research one that they have. They don't give you that. I mean, you can buy it. I think it's like $400 just for a little step, which is crazy. And of course, they refuse to play the tailgate wars, you know, like the Ford step down thing with the handle, and the GMC that transforms, bloop, 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 you know, makes stairs. Toyota said, screw that, we're not doing any of that. If you want to get back here, you're just going to have to do old school 80s style and jump jump in the back to get in back here. So yeah, I don't like that. That kind of sucks. All right, moving on. Another thing I don't like, let's talk about the roof. So all you Tacoma guys, you guys are lucky because Toyota loves you guys. They pre-drill the Tacomas so you can put a roof rack on a Tacoma at the factory. This brand new truck, and to be fair, they didn't do this on any Tundras, even the Gen 2s. It's not pre-drilled. So this is some type of rubber. There's like a rubber gasket there. And if you want to put a roof rack on this truck, you're gonna have to peel that rubber off and ruin the paint because it's color matched, which is weird. They should have just made it black rubber. No one looks up here. And then drill into your cab. Me, myself, I don't have the skills to drill very well, so I don't know if I'm gonna go all the way through and damage the headliner. I don't know if I'm gonna damage the wires that go to the camera or to the antenna. I don't know where the wires are. So it's nerve-wracking to do it myself. So I'm gonna have to hire a professional. And do I even trust those guys? Do they know what they're doing? How do I know, you know, what their skill levels are? I don't know. No one knows. It would have been a lot easier if Toyota just pre-drilled it just like they do on the Tacomas. I actually really hate that one there. All right, so another thing that I dislike is the fact that the turbos are hard to get to. So you probably saw the pictures on the internet where they actually removed the entire cab off the frame to get access to the turbos, which are somewhere behind the dash here, behind the motor. I heard a rumor that somebody figured out a way to take the wheel and the upper control arms and all this other stuff off to get access to the turbos back there without removing the cab. But at the end of the day, I just don't like the fact that those turbos are hard to get to. So another thing I dislike is the fact that there's even a wastegate actuator problem on a brand new truck. In the grand scheme of things, from what I've heard, it's only a handful of trucks that were built in November, December of 2021, and everything after that, they haven't had any issues. There's just a bad batch of actuators. There's thousands of parts on these trucks, not just Toyota, but any vehicle. Every company has recalls and bugs. It's just the world we live in. It's a complicated, complex piece of machinery. So sounds like Toyota took care of it and figured it out, and none of the new trucks are having any issues. These are all the November trucks, which from what I hear, they've all sold and they've all been identified as far as VIN numbers and all that stuff. So maybe a dozen trucks out of 6,000 trucks that were built in the last month or two. All right, so a few of these things in here are just going to be my complaints that I'm a cheap bastard and I didn't spend the extra money on a higher trim like a TRD Pro or whatever. But the TRD Pro is not available, and I didn't want to buy a limited or platinum or capstone and 1794, any of those. I didn't want to buy any of those because I'm cheap. I got the SR5 Premium. All right, so inside here, some of the things that I dislike, I kind of wish I had the E-locker. That's really the big one. The TRD Pro and some other models are going to have an e-locker, meaning if you don't know what that is, you push a button and it's going to electronically lock the rear differential so both wheels spin at the same speed no matter what surface you're on, which comes in really handy when you're going through, you know, ravines and going over certain boulders and rocks. The limited slip differentials will do nothing for you there, but being able to hit an e-locker would be fantastic. So I dislike that I don't have an e-locker. Now, this next dislike really is across the board and aimed at Toyota in general. So if you look here, I have my four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive selector, 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, right? You don't see 4 auto, which is an option on some other vehicles. And that comes in handy when you're driving this truck in the wintertime and you're on a dry road, but it turns wet, and then it turns icy, then it turns snowy, and then it turns back to ice, and then back to dry. You don't have to worry about anything. Just put it in 4 auto and drive. And the car, or the truck in this case, will drive like an all-wheel drive Subaru for the most part, right? You just go anywhere you want to go, and the system will give you the power to the wheels as needed. With me, I got to switch it from 2-wheel drive to 4 high when I go in the snow or ice or whatever it is I'm driving on. And then if I hit dry spots or a major dry area, I got to put it back into 2-wheel drive. And that shouldn't be a thing. Toyota should have made a 4 auto. I know they have the capability to do that. Here's another problem that could be solved just by spending more money and getting a better trim. But I love the fact that I have power seats with heat. That's awesome. But what I don't have, and I didn't realize I wasn't going to like this until I don't have it anymore, is there's no selector, you know, where you can set my settings for the seats and then just hit the button and it goes to my setting. And then when my wife gets in the truck, she hits her button and then the seats automatically move and get smaller or whatever to her settings. I didn't realize that I like that so much until I don't have it. Again, very minor, but I do dislike that. Another minor thing that I dislike, this is a center cup holder in the back seat here, and there's no way to pull it out. There's no, see this tab? They should have a tab like that right here where I could pull it out. I got to jam my fingers in here or grab the corners and yank it down. That's just weird. Another thing I dislike, they already went through all the trouble to put power to the 120 volt outlet, but they didn't want to give me the $5 USB port. $5, man, that's all those things cost. $5. You could have gave me a USB port here so I can have my kids charge their devices. All right, guys, there you have it. That is all the things that I dislike about my brand new 2022 Generation 3 Toyota Tundra. I know I was reaching when it comes to a lot of these dislikes because I really do love this truck. But I had to make a dislike video, and some of the things I really honestly do dislike. So either way, it's kind of a fun thing to do, is to talk about things you dislike, because nobody's perfect, right? Not even Toyota. All right, guys, hit that like button to support my channel. I appreciate it. Helps me out a lot. Ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you dislike about the new Gen 3 Toyota Tundra. You think I was on point with my dislikes? You think I was reaching? You think that I'm being petty? Leave a comment below. All right, guys, take care. Stay tuned for the likes video coming up next.